He said he was able to do that was because the male was quite disorientated. The fact that he was on fire. He said this was really quite a large chap, over 6 foot tall. He knocked him to the ground. Then a number of Strathclyde police officers pounced on him as well. There was a fight that ensued between both these males and the Strathclyde police officers as they struggled for quite some time to control the men. There was quite a lot of shouting and swearing, according to the eyewitnesses that have been speaking to us and other outlets. So it is a significant event that is unfolding at the airport in Glasgow. And of course, in light of what has happened here in London, all thoughts are turning to the prospect that this could have been another terrorist attack. We have spoken in the last few minutes to Downing Street. They say it's too early at this stage to say one way or the other, but they are monitoring the situation in Glasgow. Again, I've just come off the phone to Metropolitan Police at Scotland Yard. Like Downing Street, they're monitoring the events, looking at the pictures on Sky News and other outlets to try and get an accurate idea of what's going on.
Indeed, and on that note, Mark, we do want to tell our viewers to send in the latest videos, send in their latest pictures, and indeed give us a call if they are indeed in and around Glasgow Airport, or indeed are eyewitnesses themselves, because as you mentioned, the pictures are quite extraordinary, aren't they? Particularly the one on the left-hand side of the screen, because you can very clearly see a large plume of black smoke, which we can only assume is coming from this Cherokee Jeep as it's driven in to the terminal building. And Mark, I'm sure you may have been listening to us talk to Fiona Tracy a short while ago. She was an eyewitness saying that she was actually in the arrivals section of the building, waiting for her daughter to come off a flight from Benidorm. And she was very, very distressed and actually talked about seeing casualties, seeing people who have been injured from this fire. Have police talked about injuries to you yet?
No, that word hasn't come out yet. As you can imagine, this is the very early stages of this incident, because our viewers have emailed us and sent the video footage and the still pictures to us within really minutes of this happening. We are witnessing an event that is unfolding. Strathclyde police are trying to get us the same kind of hold on the story as we are. Their officers are there en masse now. Security at that airport, like the other main airports in the country, has been stepped up in light of the failed bombings in London, stepped up because of the perceived risk to these buildings, but also because of concerns that whoever may have been involved in the plot in London may be trying to escape. So there was a large police presence, but there's not a lot necessarily that the police can do if someone tries to drive a vehicle at a terminal building. It is quite confused at the moment, but fairly consistent accounts coming from the eyewitnesses talking to us at Sky and the other outlets that this vehicle was driven at the terminal.
Mark, we'll let you go so you can go and ring your sources, because we have plenty more eyewitnesses to talk to as well. For now, though, thank you.
Emails coming in. One specific one tells us that there are reports that one of the passengers in that car actually took a gas cylinder out of the vehicle before it burst into flames, not the cylinder, the car. That's just one report we have coming from an eyewitness on the scene, that before the car burst into flames, a gas cylinder was removed from the vehicle by one of those who was in the car at the time. Let's bring in another eyewitness, Phil Jones, who I believe has seen some at least of what went on. Phil, thanks for joining us. What can you tell us? What did you see there?
Pretty much as I was coming out of the building, it is in fact a Jeep Cherokee that's tried to drive into one of the main doors. As I came out, the Jeep was already on fire, and there was a second sort of loud pop, which I think in actual fact was the fuel tank. I can't tell you any more about people getting in and out of the car. I actually work in the car hire just around the corner. The police have flooded the scene. There's ambulances. I've actually just seen 2 ambulances just arrive. And I have seen at least one person being put in an ambulance. I couldn't tell you whether that was a casualty or someone involved. They have moved us all as far away from the airport building as possible, and everything has been stepped up and everything is closed off.
Did you see, Phil, anything of the reported apparent fight when one man, subsequently joined by the police, apparently brought the 2 occupants of the car down to the ground?
No, I didn't actually witness that myself. As I say, the airport terminal was quite a long stretch. The Jeep Cherokee's gone into the first door and we were actually all being exited out of the far door. So I can't help you on that, no.
Sure, OK. And what about the sort of feeling there? Was it organised or was there any panic?
There was obviously some panic. You know, well done to the airport staff there. They did a cracking job of keeping everyone moving out of the doors. And as I say, the police have been fantastic, moving everyone away. And they've done their best to get everyone safe and moved us into as much dry shelter as possible, because it's obviously tipping down with rain here.
Yeah, I mean, are you in a position at the moment, Phil, where you can actually see anything of what's going on?
No, everyone's been moved far, far away. There's obviously multi-storey car parks between where everyone's put and the building, so to get an actual view of the doorway is now impossible.
So are you and the other people who were around sort of virtually stuck where you are at the moment?
In a way, yes. Obviously no movement by vehicle is allowed in or out of the airport, apart from police and ambulance, etc. Everyone else is just being kept as far away and as dry as possible.
And when this happened, I mean, obviously, you know, it must be not only unsettling, but absolutely terrifying, I would think. How did you praised the airport staff. What about other passengers, people around? What was their reaction?
Well, obviously everyone was doing the general get out of the building as quickly as possible. There was mixed views. A lot of people didn't really know what was going on. You know, you hear fire alarms going off in places all the time, and people don't necessarily assume straight away that it's an attack of any sort. So many people were sort of, you know, milling around and thinking, oh, this is a waste of time, whereas others were in hysterics.
Well, Phil Jones, hope you're not stuck there for too long. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Well, let's also talk to another eyewitness now. Joe Love joins us on the telephone. Joe, what did you see?
Hello.
Hi, Joe. It's Emma Crosby in the Sky News studio. You're talking to us live on Sky News. We appreciate your time. What did you see?
Actually, my husband and my daughter and myself had just arrived back from Alicante. We had actually been passing through with our luggage when the fire alarm went off. It was actually telling us not to panic, but just the alarm was going off in another part of the building, but just continue to exit. So when we came out the front door, we just saw all this smoke, and people were actually panicking, but we didn't actually realise what had happened until we got right out the front door, and then it was like just police everywhere, and then we had found out that there was actually a car on fire in the front of the terminal, but by that time the flames were really quite bad.
So when did you find that out? Was that because you saw the vehicle, or did police or other eyewitnesses tell you?
We came out the front door and it was very, very smoky, but it wasn't actually on fire, it was smoking, and then the next thing it was like I just heard a bang, and then the next thing it was in flames. So I didn't actually see the vehicle, although that we had passed through, but we knew that there was something happening, and we did hear the bang, which quite frightened us, and everybody was like in a panic then.
And are you able to tell us or describe the bang, describe what it might have been? It was an explosion of some kind.
I didn't know what the bang was. It just, when we saw the smoke, I was quite frightened, and my wee girl, she's only 5, she was in a bit of a panic. So we were just like getting guided away by the airport staff. They were telling us not to move on down, because we had actually came out like the door next to the side door to come home out through the front to get onto the bus.
And can you tell us whereabouts the car was? Was the car in the arrivals or the departure section of the airport?
No, it wasn't. It must have been the departure end, because we had actually came out the arrival end.
Now, we're hearing reports that there were 2 men driving the Cherokee van.
I never saw any men. I couldn't tell you anything about any men, because we didn't see anything then.
Okay. You must have seen a big police presence. Where are you now? Where are you now?
I'm actually home in my mother's house right now. As we left the airport, our bus was there, and we just managed to get out before the police closed the road. No one, I don't think anybody's going to be allowed in there today, the rest of the day, because it was getting closed off when we left. So we were actually heading up the M8.
And how busy was it as well, Joan?
It was really busy with police and ambulances and the fire services when we left. It was actually pretty frightening.
And what about holidaymakers? I assume it would be a busy Saturday afternoon there.
There is quite a lot of people there, yes, actually going on holiday.
Now, you describe an explosion or a bang of some kind after you'd already seen the the Cherokee Jeep or the vehicle smoking somewhat.